So if you, for example, had just one tip or trick or suggestion to give to new players, what would it be?
Well, for combat specifically, counting bullets. Making sure you know when your enemy is going to reload is a great combat tip. Make sure that you rush them when they do, because they'll be caught shitless with their pants down. Ta-ta!
I guess it would be don't stand in front or behind the vehicles. That's just a simple one.
There is no such thing as a friendly mine.
All I can say is, dude, bayonets are the most OP thing you've ever fucking seen when clearing out trenches.
Swapping seats in a vehicle, you can use control 1 through however many number of seats there are in the vehicle, or you can quick swap just by pressing Z.
Always keep the battle tank turret facing forward.
Moi je pense qu'il est vraiment important, notamment pour ceux qui débutent, c'est de pas partir avec trop de matériel sur soi quand vous allez au front. Il faut bien penser au fait que c'est tout des joueurs qui produisent le matériel, que ce soit les fusils, les armes, le stuff médical ou même les outils nucléaires comme les radios ou quoi. Donc c'est vraiment important de prendre le strict minimum et de pas partir par exemple avec un fusil et 20 chargeurs, mais juste un fusil et 3 chargeurs, dans 90% des cas c'est largement suffisant.
Do 1 week of Logi and 1 week of frontline combat.
Give the Logi a chance. It can be really fun and really rewarding, especially transport Logi, like transporting stuff to the front lines. Can be really rewarding, and have people commend you and actually thank you when you bring in actual critical stuff.
If you're driving a Logi truck, always have a rifle, in case there are partisans.
Learn the basic and the hard way, that's what I can tell them. It's really harsh in this game.
You know, run the training course in the home region there and go through all the little training things we have up north, and then the vehicles and the mining thing. That helps a lot to kind of get that out of the way before you head into the battle, because it'll just give you the basics and how the game operates.
Use smoke grenades, very underappreciated offensive tool. Like smoke a foxhole, smoke a pillbox, then throw HE grenades on it.
Because the enemy foxhole can shoot at you if it can't see you. Yes, very good suggestion.
If you go partisan, don't go alone, because you probably need someone to heal, someone to cover you. Alone, partisan is not that effective. It's my recommendation.
Whenever you're building or repairing something, never have more than 3 people doing it, because it's inefficient and wastes hammer swings, and it doesn't make it go any faster.
Don't worry about dying.
I think that most people, or I don't know, not most people, but like some people don't know what the aim line is, and how anything outside of the aim line is like anything outside of the white line is outside your range.
And they'll do way less damage, almost no damage.
Yeah.
If I had to say any trick, like out of all the tricks that there are in this game, I think the best trick is that there's always a way to exploit the enemy. Like if they have a bigger fighting force, and they're about to, knock down your push, then attack them from somewhere else.
So basically what you're trying to say is that whenever there's a big front going on, there's always a weak spot being created.
Yeah, there's always a weak spot, and if you don't have the resources you need, just use what you have.
If you run in the middle of the road, you're gonna be run over by the friendly or enemy trucks. So if you wanna die, stay in the middle of the road.
Vérifiez régulièrement l'état de vos chars et ne lancez pas sur les lignes ennemies sans y avoir réfléchi à 2 fois.
Alright, so for new players, if you want to try your hand in logistics, make sure you have a radio and you check your map, and you check your map often to make sure it refreshes. If you don't have any watchtowers around the area you want to supply, or get to drive through an area without any watchtowers, don't use the route and find a different one. Or talk to your team in team chat and make sure you can get through safely.
But I would say just get into a foxhole, because you're probably going to be a lousy shooter, a lousy aimer. And if you're shooting from a foxhole, you're protected. Yeah.
You can cook frag grenades and gas grenades, so they're a lot more kind of instantaneous when they blow up. Therefore, it catch the enemies off guard a lot better.
The AT rifle has a damage drop-off at 35 meters, and at 40 meters it does 1 damage, 1% to all vehicles.
When you play Foxhole, try everything.
Drive every vehicle, talk to every person you meet. The fun of this game is in the people you run into.
Do not take shirts when going into combat.
When you're in a tank, make sure you have a full inventory of gas mask and filters.
Take a gas mask and don't forget the filter.
Foxhole is a game about resources. Your most important task should be to loot bodies. You can't win any war without the resources. Loot bodies, take them back to base, and that's how you win the war.
Always consider attacking logi lines whenever possible. It's extremely annoying to the enemy, and it's extremely valuable, especially when you blow up a truck full of goods.
Always know where the enemy has placed their howitzers or is building them, so you can counter Howie effectively. There's nothing quite as satisfying as seeing a half-built howitzer, turning your gun to match theirs, and then wallop! And then just blow them fucking sky high!
If there's any like blueprints you see on the road, be very careful because there might be his partisans nearby. So if you can gun it, if you can't, try and kill them.
A watchtower's range is 80 meters. Don't build them too close to the roads or those pesky partisans will find them.
Honestly, a new player, if you just came in and straight into a Logi team and said, how can I help, I'm brand new, we would send you with a little truck to the front. The truck would be enough to like feed the army, and then you can just leave the truck there because it's always useful to have a canvas up front. That would be the best one. Just come straight to a Logi group and be like, yo, how can I help? Because logistics is the most important.
Don't take 10 clips of ammo.
If you're getting pushed back a lot, make sure you've got somewhere behind that you can fall back to.
So build backline regions.
Build backline regions. Make sure you've got plenty of foxholes, watchtowers.
Don't be afraid to wash the enemy armor with stickies. They will retreat with that.
Please don't drive your armored vehicles off-road, because once they're off-road, they're extremely slow and cumbersome, and can be very vulnerable to enemy infantry. So just stay on the road. You can dodge stickies, RPGs, and hitchies way easier this way. And yeah, remember they're not invincible, and be careful with them.
Be nice to others.
Si vous êtes une équipe à faire du scrap, il vaut mieux avoir une personne qui scrape en continu et les autres qui font les allers-retours. Vous serez plus efficace.
If you're dueling with gunboats, a gunboat can take a total of 2 shells before it explodes. The first shell will disable it, so if you don't shoot first, you're not going to shoot at all.
Leave equipment near the nodes.
You mean mining equipment, harvesters?
Yeah, and storage. Having plenty of storage there helps as well. The more further away from a refinery, the more storage you'll need.
The best tip I would give is to close the gates. Even in backline regions especially, people build gates for a reason on the roads that partisans aren't running through. So just take the half a second if you pass through and you don't get the gate, just to back up and close the gate. It helps a lot.
Never leave garrison houses without other defenses. Garrison houses are easy to kill if you find a blind spot and you just sneak in and blow it up.
I don't know if you already have this tip, but space your foxholes by 5 to 6 meters apart to avoid splash damage from explosives.
When it comes to howitzers and field artillery, always keep your guns silent until the moment is right, then open up with everything you've got.
Well, it would be, well, don't be afraid to roleplay, because I've made most of my friends in Foxhole through roleplaying in the front. I mean, like right now, well, not right now, but like mostly when I go to the front, I roleplay as a frontline reporter for this roleplay group called Press Corps.
Do Logi. Instead of me, do Logi.
Crouch, you're prone to improve weapon stability when firing over longer distance.
But what I do care about is it's people that are on the front line just shooting defenses. Because if you're on the front line, your role is to be a DPS. If you're not DPSing, not shooting soldiers or structures, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay then, let me tell you this one tip, and this is actually one that I'm starting to do. You make a watchtower, you get tier 2 walls built around that shit.
If you want to go support the front with a fighter, take a Descot with you.
people need to listen to you sometimes. Just you need to scream at them. The main reason when people's following you is like getting good idea. You screams at them, and you're saying like they are sitting at the town hall like 5 people, and you're choosing them. There is like saying him, you're going with me, you're going with me, and we're going together. And that's the reason how we can lead people. But it's like taking some time. But if you can be organized, we can do much better.
Let's do something basic like SMGs. I think some new players like to use a lot. You know, short control bursts will do pretty good.
I've remapped the aim to control from right mouse button. That's been the biggest change in gameplay for me.
You can look up artillery calculators for Foxhole, and that'll allow you to get accurate positionings outside of the normal range that you can view with binoculars.
You always have the option to retreat. Never like try to face every engagement because you can just fall back and get a better position.
Always try to cover your medics when they try to revive someone, and when you're being healed, don't just stand there. Point your gun on the enemy's direction. You never know what's going to happen.
My tip would probably try to move more and not be stationary, because if you just sit stationary and go prone, it takes so long to go from here up to here. So always try and go crouch, because when you get the shield icon, it stabilizes as fast as prone. So just do that instead, and then you can just get up instantly.
When you're in a gunboat and there's an APC chasing you, remember the APC is faster, but has a wider turning radius, so all you have to do is just keep circling around.
A lonesome soldier with bayonet that flanks can achieve so much more than a banzai charge that pushes the front. Enemies will immediately notice and impede a swarm of soldiers way faster than a solo bayonetta. That is very true.
Kiss my ass!
Never make a tank unless you have at least 30 cans of petrol in reserve.
If you're building something like starting to build up a town or anything, don't go too crazy with defenses, because later on you're gonna have to be paying for it in garrison supply. So you know, the more shut you make, you're gonna have to pay for it later on.
Return vehicles to the back line.
Don't trust anyone with a shovel besides yourself.
Take breaks from the game. I know that if I go on an Adderall binge and I play this game for 12 hours straight, I end up fucking hating it by the end of it. So, then I'll take like a 2-week break, come back to the game, suddenly it's fucking enjoyable again. Take breaks.
Before returning to home region, stash your kit, gear in the nearest base, otherwise your body is deleted and no one can loot your gear.
Don't forget to stay cover behind the wall, because it will increase your accuracy, so it's very good.
You know, you can split your stack in your inventory by left-clicking and holding Control key.
When deploying from the home region, just choose the box that is blinking large if you want to go to the front lines. If you want to be more in the back lines, choose a smaller box and do Logi or build or something like that.
One of the most golden rules in Foxhole armor when it comes to like tank warfare, AC warfare, and half-track is death before dismount. You never want to get your vehicle captured, so you always want to stay in there if you can, because it's better to be destroyed than lose the vehicle to the enemy.
If you're ever engineering for a battle tank, you should always reload the gun, then repair. You should never repair, then reload the gun.
As a tank commander, your job is also to coordinate with the infantry, designate people to build watchtowers to secure the flanks if you want to do some sneaky shots on your enemies.
Shirts come in a crate of 10, but if you uncrate them and put them into the truck, you can fit a lot more than 10 per slot.
Aim for the corner so you can get a wider view of range and a better sight on your enemies.
If you have foxholes, then put barbed wire in front of them to that range that is the nighttime visibility of the foxhole range, so no one can branch it during night. Be aware of the nighttime range for foxholes, particularly when dealing with partisans.
One thing I definitely recommend to newer players or advanced players or anything like that is to not hoard resources. The fact that we're so low on resources is because people have all these private queues, and that actually really negatively affects the war. People like to think, oh, spies are just going to take everything and this and that, but that's simply not true. By putting things to public, you're doing more of a service than you are hurting things.
if there's anything that I can go and give as a good advice is to help one another. We're an army of many clans, many individuals. You see someone who doesn't know how to do something, just help them out, give them a hand. Because if not, we're not going to win the war.
Carry bandages.
Carry bandages. Please don't forget cooking garrison supplies for the front base or back line for an FOB. If a town hall, relic base or fob doesn't have garrison supplies, they will decay. You can cook them at a factory and it doesn't cost a lot of BMATs.
I would recommend shadow dancing for early combat. Shadow dancing is a form of combat in Foxhole where you stray side to side while shooting at the enemy as much as possible. It is recommended to use this strategy against rifles, sniper rifles, and other semi-automatic weapons, and not automatic weapons such as SMGs, storm rifles, etc.
Make sure to use those bushes out there. Concealment is very helpful, especially for ambushes.
The best you can do for your logi teammates is to place watchtowers around the roads, next to the roads, so they can travel safe to your regions, to any regions, and supply you with BMATs, which, yeah, you need them for building.
Because with watchtowers you can see that partisans are...
Oh yeah, because partisans are a bitch to deal with it.
Sur les gros champs de bataille, ça ne sert à rien de prendre des munitions et des rifles quand on spawn. Tout est par terre, il n'y a qu'à ramasser.
When you are building bunkers, be really careful to structural integrity, because the more bunker piece you add to your bunker, the less health each bunker piece add to the health pool. For example, to tier 1, a piece 30 bunker will have the same health pool as a piece 8 bunker, so be really careful of that.
The mortar is an underappreciated anti-tank weapon. With enough people, you can fire a barrage that can 1-tap certain vehicles and 2-tap other ones. You can rain down quack.
Yeah, if you've got a bandage, you should hand it over to your medic if you have one, because the medic is going to be able to use that bandage way more effectively than you are going to be able to use it.
So you can use the arrow on the blueprint of a pillbox to tell you if you're facing an incline. That way you'll know whether your foxhole or pillbox is going to shoot in that direction.
In the left-hand corner of your screen, often you'll see this thing go off saying a certain base is under attack. That's something to really pay attention to. If that means that often a base needs help. If a base is destroyed, you need to go and rebuild that because it's had a lot of upgrade parts invested. Often most of the defense is still standing. The AI turns off after about 5 minutes of the fob or the town hall or whatever base being destroyed.
It's actually 10 minutes.
Yeah, so that time limit, you want to rebuild that base before that time limit's up. So if you can get yourself in a CV and drive there, you can quickly turn around whatever advantage the enemy had.
Okay, I'd advise new players to build a fuel truck instead of a logi truck. You can build it in the same facility. It costs the same resources. By focusing on the fuel truck, you can get resources faster. So I would build a fuel truck and take it to a mine, either a sulfur mine or a B-map mine or R-map mine. And at those locations, you'll get a lot more harvested.
If you enable in additional mouse settings in Windows 10 mouse lock, you can farm materials with harvester while watching map and chatting.
Use the right type of shells against the target. Use HE for buildings. If you don't have it, use normal shells. Use AP for vehicles.
Find your niche in the game and you'll have a good time.
Find your niche in the game and have a good time. Okay, find your specialty.
It's for a soft drop truck. When you got it filled up, take out 5 of the material that's in it, and your encumbrance will be at 99 instead of 100, so your car will go like 10 times faster.
The salvage, yes.
What about like making sure you completely empty a scrap field to allow it to respawn?
How to be a good sniper in this game. Always focus on medics, other snipers, machine gunners, RPG guys, mortar crews, and especially in the late game, always try to camp and shoot the tank commanders and vehicle crew members.
Jeeps are really good for taking out enemy fobs which have weak flanks. So grabbing 2 or 3 guys with mortars in a jeep, you can quickly go behind an enemy fob and destroy it before the enemies even notice it.
And jeeps are also very good at anti-partisan stuff, like you getting there quickly and through off-roads, whatever. It's very useful for that. The speed is key against partisans.
Using a gunboat, and if you're alone, is really dangerous because an APC can run up to you with stickies, so you have to be extremely careful if you're the guy with the binos.
Are you
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
Crouch. Crouch and move. There you go.
Thank you.
See
You want to transport to abandoned world? I can take you there.
See, that could also be my very last tip. That could be me, the last person. If you're stuck somewhere in a trench, just crouch and move. It's true though.
Yeah,
It's true.
that's a good tip.
So I'm doing a community video right now.
Fuck? No. Turning your gun to match theirs and then wallop. I fucking missed.
Yeah, it's so far to the... Oh shit.
Dude, I know you have a grenade on you.
Yeah, well here I am shoving a fucking mic up your ass.
Always wise to camp and wait till the crew...
If you take a garrison supply out of the base, you'll run faster because your guy has hydration.
Death to the traitors!
There you go. Oh, fucking truck.
Don't be a homosexual.
Ça pue le Google Traduction ça. C'est pas grave.